Ms. Flowers, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Good morning. How are you doing? My name is Latrese Flowers. My DOC number is 4611097.
Ms. Flowers, do you have a parole revocation questionnaire there with you?
Yes, ma'am.
That's your signature at the bottom of that page dated January 30th of this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And based on that information, you're not eligible this morning for appointed counsel. So are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're here for a revocation decision today. I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have a conversation about what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Ms. Flowers, you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4, which says you must not engage in any behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You must not engage in assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidated behavior. You must not use or possess controlled substances or drug paraphernalia, or be with anyone you know to possess these items. You are in violation of this condition as evidenced by the fact that you were arrested on December 19th, 2023 and charged with domestic abuse battery. The bail was set at $7,500 with conditions that you have no contact with the victim, and a protective order was signed on December 21st, 2023. The charge of domestic abuse battery was no billed on January 17, 2024. So, Ms. Flowers, how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Well, I didn't do anything, so I guess I'm not guilty.
So tell us what happened. I need a plea of guilty or not.
You want me to tell you what happened?
Well, first I need you to enter a plea of guilty or not.
No, not guilty.
Okay, now tell us what happened.
Okay, on that day, my ex, he asked, can he come over to speak on our relationship? But I told that I was at work at the time, and I told him he can come when I get off. Okay, he called and told me he was outside, and I opened the door for him, but I went back upstairs. Didn't know he was intoxicated or whatever until he came in or whatever. And I told him, I said, well, look, we're gonna talk about this later, and I asked him to leave. But he wanted to speak on, continue to speak on it or whatever. But I asked him to leave. I said, well, if you don't leave, I'm gonna call the police or whatever. So I guess he thought I didn't call the police. I guess he thought I was playing when I said I was calling the police, but I called the police or whatever. And the police came out, but as they called, as I was putting them out of my home, the police called and asked where my apartment was. They couldn't find my apartment or whatever. And when I answered the phone to let them know where I was at, I was leading him out of my apartment, but he had lifted his elbow up and hit me in my lip or whatever. And my reaction, I had a reaction. I had his hair.
So it started at work, right?
No, ma'am. He called and asked, can we talk about our getting back together? Yes, ma'am. And I told him that I would talk to him, but when I got off, but he didn't. Yes, ma'am.
So why did you call the police?
Because when he got there, I didn't know he was intoxicated. I just unlocked my door and I came back upstairs. Because I have like a townhouse. So I just unlocked the door and went back upstairs. But when he came in or whatever, he used the restroom and then come into the room. And that's when I knew he was, intoxicated when he came in the room, because he opened the door and it made a noise, he opened it, and I was like, what's wrong with you? And when he started talking, that's how I knew he was intoxicated. So I told him we'll talk about it tomorrow another time, because what I'm saying, I mean, I wouldn't have got nothing through him, being intoxicated, so I just asked him to leave, and he didn't want to leave. He just wanted to, continue. And I asked him that I told him I was gonna call the police if he didn't leave. And
And
so
so,
that's how the police got involved. But if I knew I was gonna be arrested, I would never call the police.
do you
I
think
just
he
call,
eventually left?
ma'am,
He have eventually left?
I feel he probably would have, you know what I'm saying? But I called because, you know what I'm saying, I wanted him to leave. I had to go to work the next morning. I didn't want to argue, you know?
Were you afraid of him?
No, ma'am. I just wanted him to leave, you know. You know, I've been in a relationship with him for a while, and when he's intoxicated, he seems to go on and on or whatever. So I didn't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to go to bed to go to work the next morning. And when the police came out, they asked me, did I want to press charges or anything? I told them, no, no, sir. I just want to go to sleep so I can go to work in the morning.
And his name is Christopher Kane.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still in a relationship with him?
No, ma'am. We was broken up like 45 days, you know, into, you know, because of the alcoholism. I was, you know, I don't drink, you know, and I feel like I put up with it long enough, and I just didn't. I don't want the relationship no more. And I've been here 30 days or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And this has really opened my eyes on the relationship, and really, you know, and I since I've been home in 2019, I've been through a lot already. I done lost a son in 2021. My son was murdered. I done been homeless. I done, you know, and just when I was getting to, you know, I can say, you know, at ease with myself, you know what I'm saying, and on my feet, and
Yep.
this happened.
Where were you working?
At Circle K.
Circle K near your
Yes.
home?
Yes, ma'am, on Government Street. And my boss, they told me they'd hold my job for me.
How long you been in jail?
I've been here since 90 days, since December the 19th.
Right, okay, I do see that, December 19th.
And I done been through a lot. I done stayed in hotels, and I always called my parole officer, let him know where I was and everything, you know. Mr. Linton, he'll let you know I called. If I had to leave out the hotel to stay with a family member, I called.
Yeah, I see that in the record where you were trying to let them know everything that was
I
going
let them know everything. Cause I have my son, like I said, he passed away in 2001. I mean 2021, and he left me grandbabies, and I just been home to try to help take care of my grandbabies. I have 7 grandbabies.
Where they at?
They with their mother.
Your son had children
Yeah, he had 4.
and they're with their mother?
Yes, ma'am. But I try to help out. They love me. I love my grandkids.
Sure you do. But you know, you got to take care of you first.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
And I
this
just saw back.
contract shows that you became kind of aggressive, although both of you ended up with busted lips, no major injuries, but you were the one that became aggressive because you were mad at him because he came to talk to you about having a baby with somebody else, another female.
Oh, no, ma'am, that wasn't the reason why we was into it. No, ma'am. I wasn't even aggressive. I wasn't aggressive. When his elbow came up and hit me in my lip, when he realized I was actually talking to the police, because he thought I didn't call the police. But when he heard the police call me and asked me, where your apartment? I was at my door, opening the door to put him out. But when he lifted his arm, I had a reflex. I wasn't aggressive towards him.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Have any questions? Anything else you want to say to us before we make a decision?
Well, I just want to go home, and please give me another try.
Where is home?
3225 Victoria Drive, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70805, apartment 4026.
Has someone else been staying in that apartment while you're there?
My son,
He's taking care of all that for you?
he just been keeping, my daughter been helping keep everything going since I've been here.
Well, Ms. Flowers, I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your 21.
Thank you.
And you do not have a relationship with Mr. Kane at this time?
No, ma'am.
I tell you what, Ms. Kane, Ms. Flowers, I want to help you out.
Thank you so much.
And it's unfortunate you got in this situation when you were just starting to figure things out and get on your feet. You had a job, you had a place to stay. My vote's going to be do not revoke, return to supervision. You got a long time. You'll be on supervision a long time. But listen, I want to add a condition, and you can work this with your parole officer in your free time. I want you to take some anger management classes. You'll need to
No
brush.
problem.
Right. I don't know what your work hours are, but I'm going to do a curfew unless you're at work, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless you're at work or at church.
No problem. I don't go anywhere anyway.
Okay. Mrs. Ledoux.
Ms. Flowers, because I find that both of you were the aggressor in this situation, I'm going to show some leniency as well.
Thank
The
you,
fact that you
Jesus.
have been compliant since 2019, and this was the first time that something's come up, even though it was a bad situation. I see you making progress, and I want you to continue. You've got a lot to live for, so my vote is not revoke, but
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I concur with you. Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Ms. Flowers, as Ms. Ledoux stated, y'all both were the aggressors, and there was an argument. Both of you agree that there was an argument. But I too looked at your probation and parole record, and you had a good record. You definitely were staying in contact with your officer, trying to tell him every move. So I'm also inclined to give you another chance with the same.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right, Ms. Flowers, good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. When I come home.
Probably tomorrow.
As soon as we get your birthday.
No, maybe tomorrow.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
Sit tight and say your prayer.
Oh, Lord.